everybody, it is Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show and the Aftershocks podcast. And before we show you this next video, just wanted to remind you that you can add the CMS PN to your Roku. That's right. If you have a Roku or a Roku TV, just click the link below. It's in the scroll. It's also in the description of this video. And make sure you're logged into your Roku account on your computer, and it will add it right to your Roku. It'll add it, then you just refresh your device, and bang, there it is. That way you can watch all of our episodes, whether it's us or Skull Sessions or Talk to Me or Aftershocks or Classic Metal Show. All be on your TV. It's a deal, right? And it's free. All right, make sure you do that. And now, here's the video you actually came to see.
Right here on your Classic Metal Show with The Kid Goes Wild, featuring the departed Sam Kinison on little cameo there.
Hey, didn't you see Sam Kinison before?
I have.
Kidding. I know you told that story last week. That's why I'm bringing it up.
I'm telling you what, I wish Sam Kinison could be resurrected today, because I would love to see what his take is on the current environment that's going on in the States.
He'd probably be canceled everywhere.
Of course he would.
He wouldn't be, you wouldn't know his stance, because he wouldn't be allowed to have Twitter or perform or anything.
Yeah, you're not allowed to speak out, pal.
Yeah, I mean, dude, what's Louis C.K. been up to lately? Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
No, but
there are no real edgy comedians at all today.
they're
None.
afraid. They're afraid to be.
Well, but even since Sam Kinison, we're talking. What did he die in 90? I think he died in like 91. I think he got killed in 91. So here we are. Shit, I hate to say it. 30 years later.
Yeah.
There has not been anyone edgy since Sam Kinison.
Well, there hasn't been anybody big. There's been edgy comedians. They're just not as big.
Like who? Give me an example.
Jimmy Norton.
Well, yeah, I agree. And at least he's had a few opportunities to have some video specials.
Yeah. I mean,
one that he actually filmed there in Cleveland, which ONA actually were in the audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Norton's certainly edgy. He's not, and CK was edgy. Louis C.K. was a pretty edgy.
They're edgy, but they're not bombastic. I think what I'm looking for is just over the top.
Stanhope
is really funny, and he's one of my favorites. He's more cerebral. Sam Kinison was just bombastic.
DePaulo?
He's
not his show, his comedy.
Yeah, his comedy is, all of them have good comedy and good commentary, but as far as being a larger than life person, Sam Kinison, he was like the out of control comic guy.
Yeah.
Norton, he tells really good jokes, and he makes a lot of, edgy comments, as well as Stanhope and stuff. But when it comes to like this larger than life, like in your face, just like, I'm gonna wrestle you to the ground or punch, there hasn't been anyone like Kinison.
Artie?
No. I'm talking about somebody who not only do they have good jokes, but they're also, their presence is very dominating.
Oh, well, that person doesn't exist anymore.
That's my point.
Yeah,
since Kinison, there has never been anyone like that since.
And the guys that were like that have all fucking sold out, like Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy was larger than life.
Yeah, he was, and I agree. And look, like watching Raw and things like that, which surprisingly is available to watch.
Yeah.
Instead of going, oh well, we can't show this anymore.
He's a black guy, he can get away with it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he definitely was very, very top of the line.
Mm-hmm.
Just a very larger than life character. And speaking of it, well, who?
He sold it out. That's the problem.
Well, and I agree. And speaking of that, since we were talking about HBO Max,
Yeah.
they offered all the Beverly Hills Cop movies.
Yeah.
And I watched the classic, of course, which was the original one, which was really good.
Sure.
The second one wasn't bad. The third one just blew a bag of dicks. That Beverly Hills Cop 3, I watched that once a long time ago, and I totally forgot about it, and it was just horrible. I watched it again like a week ago. Yeah, last week. And it was just like, holy shit, what a bag of shit this is.
Well, you'll be happy to know that Beverly Hills Cop 4 has been approved and is in production.
Oh, forget it. After Coming to America, fuck that.
And another 48 hours is coming as well.
Fuck that too.
What if they do? We're still trading places.
No, forget it.
No, you're not. You're done
Forget
with
it.
it.
After Coming to America too, after seeing what that turned into, I can't even imagine that Beverly Hills Cop or what was it, 48 Hours.
Yeah.
Forget that. I'm not even going to even entertain watching it.
I know they're going to be shit, and I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm going to watch every one of them. I know it now. I might have, dude. People are listing all Eddie Murphy movies in the chat room. I'd watch every one of them. Best Defense 2, yeah, I'd watch it. I absolutely would. Best Defense 1 was horrible, and he was barely in it. I'd watch Best Defense 2. Eddie Murphy's one of these guys. I watched all his dumb movies, all his really shitty ones, Harlem Nights, Bowfinger. I was watching all that shit. Bowfinger when he's driving around in the Sanford and Son truck.
Yeah, with who that what's his name, the comedian guy.
I don't remember who was in it, but
the guy from Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. What the fuck is that comedian? Yeah, it's Steve Martin. He's in that movie, right? Bowfinger.
You know why I didn't recognize? Because you said comedian, and that automatically makes me think of something funny. And funny couldn't be more opposite of Steve Martin. Steve Martin is that is seriously the luckiest fucking guy ever. That guy is not funny and not entertaining. How did he get fucking famous with the dumb arrow through the head fucking hat and the wild and crazy guy?
Well, he was featured on SNL.
But he wasn't funny there.
Well, but the thing is he made it on SNL. And again, this goes back to a lot of the discussions we've ever had about what made bands popular.
Yeah.
They spoon fed it to you. So he's on SNL, so he must be good. You heard this on the radio, so it must be good.
Yeah. And Ghost 66 in the chat, you're exactly right. Steve Martin has not been good since Roxanne. Roxanne was pretty fucking good. I did enjoy that movie.
Well, I did like Trains, Planes, and Automobiles.
That's all right.
I mean, John Candy. I mean,
was good.
Well, that's the whole thing. He was a good foil for John Candy.
Yeah, and The Jerk was good. People are throwing The Jerk up there. The Jerk was fun, but The Jerk was stupid too. Let's be honest.
It was a stupid movie, but again, a movie that would never be able to fly today.
Exactly.
Never.
Yeah, but man, that guy's comedy is just dog shit.
Yeah, his comedy wasn't good.
And let me just tell you a real life story, which made it even worse. Steve Martin was probably my dad's favorite comedian.
Yeah, because he was low
risk.
I guess, and again, I've said this on the show before, but you know who I never found funny ever, not once, is Robin Williams.
Oh, the funniest thing he ever did was hung himself.
Yeah, I never found Robin Williams even remotely entertaining. I didn't find him funny. I didn't think his comedy was funny. I didn't like his movies.
Yeah,
I thought he sucked. But
liked the movie where he played a serial killer, 1 Hour Photo.
I saw that.
That was the only movie I ever enjoyed by him. But all of his other bullshit, Mrs. Doubtfire and Hook, and fuck you, Robin Williams.
The world
Good
according to
morning, Vietnam. Shut up.
the
Shut
world according to the world according to Garp or whatever the fuck that was.
Fuck you. Was he in Good Will Hunting too?
Yeah, I think so.
Fuck you with that one too.
And was he in Dead Poet Society or something?
Fuck you with that movie too. Those movies all stink.
Just, you know, they tried to make him out to be some kind of like this genius.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you fucking suck, dude.
You know what he was? He was Hollywood funny.
Yeah. I found nothing entertaining about that guy ever.
He reminds me a lot of Dane Cook. Dane Cook, Hollywood funny.
And what happened to that guy?
He wasn't funny, so people stopped supporting him.
I know, but at some point he was selling out like arenas.
Yeah, but he was never funny. Dane Cook.
What is he doing now?
He's probably still doing comedy, but nobody.
Is he? Because I don't recall seeing or hearing about Dane Cook since like 2003.
Probably laughing at all the people that made him a fucking $100 millionaire. Probably. I mean, what else would he be doing? Let's see. Dane Cook. At the end of 2018, Cook announced the Tell It Like It Is tour, his first full-scale stand-up tour since Under Oath in 2013. The tour began in February of 2019 and concluded in November in LA. So that's it. Really, he did a tour 2 years ago. So I guess he's still doing it.
All right. Again, you know, he was like an HBO darling, and he had specials and all this other stuff, and it was like, what the fuck is that? That guy's not funny.
No, but yeah, dude, Steve Martin. Going back to Steve Martin, my dad, this was his favorite guy, and he had. I still remember the album. It was called "Let's Get Small."
Yeah, Let's Get Small.
It had him on the cover wearing a fucking fake nose and a balloon hat. Look it up. I'll put it up.
I know of it. I remember it came out in 78,
77, 78, somewhere.
Yeah, I remember it.
My dad loved this album so much that he had, not only did he have the album so we could hear it in the house, but he had the 8-track.
Oh, the 8-track.
So that if he was in the car, he could get a good chuckle on the way to work by listening to the same fucking shit jokes that he was doing on, in the house. And my dad would be sitting. We had a chaise lounge in the house, one of those big old furry chaise lounges that were all the rage in the early 70s.
Sure.
He had one of those, and he'd lay on that thing. And he'd be telling the jokes as Steve told the jokes and laughing his fucking ass off. And he'd be like, aha, King Tut, buried in his jammies. Ha, ha, ha. He'd be laughing. And me and my mom would just be looking at him like, what is wrong with you, fool? I mean, we couldn't take, my mom, I don't even think was into it. I think she played like she was into it to, placate him so he wouldn't, whatever, wouldn't complain or whine or whatever, but dude, the guy was not funny. And I got to hear a steady dose of this fucking moron for probably 10 years. I mean, he was doing, my dad would play this fucking CD over and there it is. I just put it on the regular screen.
Okay.
There's Steve Martin, Let's Get Small.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
First one with the dick suck lips in the history of album covers. That's like the first selfie ever. Fucking homo. Sucked. You know what? Let me pull this up.
Yeah, that's before his hair turned gray.
Yeah. And his nose actually was that big for Roxanne. Would you like to hear a Steve Martin joke from Let's Get Small?
Let's hear it. Let's hear a joke.
All right.
That'll be a treat.
Yeah, here we go. I'm going to play a segment called One Way to Leave Your Lover.
All right.
It's a minute and a half long. So here it is. The Great Steve Martin from 1977. Now watch, everybody will laugh their ass off at this. You watch. I'll look like an idiot, but whatever. Here we go.
I'm depressed. Nah, it's just... I guess I'm kind of thinking about my old girlfriend, you know what I mean?
No, stop.
Why are they laughing?
Why is that why is that funny? I was thinking about my old girlfriend. Why is that funny?
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing funny about this fucking guy, and people laugh anyway.
He didn't even get to the build up yet, and people are laughing like whatever it is he's saying is funny. And I'm kind of depressed. I was thinking about my ex-girlfriend.
But just listen, every line, as soon as he stops, they feel obligated to laugh.
All right, go ahead.
I'm going to start it over so that you get those first 8 seconds. But he goes, I'm depressed. And you hear people going, ha ha, ha ha. I'm getting ready to leave my girlfriend. Yeah, just listen. They have to fill every gap with a laugh. It's fucking pathetic. Here we go.
I'm depressed. Nah, it's just... I guess I'm kind of thinking about my old girlfriend, you know what I mean?
What is fucking funny?
There's nothing funny about that.
Nothing.
I'm waiting for the punchline. Let's go.
Yeah, move it along, dick.
Yeah, I feel like Extreme, waiting for the punchline.
Exactly. All right. Well, you're probably gonna be waiting a while because he never tells anything funny. But
All right.
We were together about 3 years, and sometimes when I get on stage, I kind of think about her because, she'd travel with me, and then I'd be up here performing, and I could hear her laugh, kind of meant something to me, I guess.
Now, why are they laughing about that? They're laughing about that.
Okay. Still waiting.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
I guess I kind of miss her. And she's not living anymore, so You think that's funny? I guess I kind of blame myself for her death. We were at a party one night, and we weren't getting along. We were fighting, and she began to drink. And she ran out to the car. I followed her out. And I guess I didn't realize how much she'd been drinking. She asked me to drive her home, and I refused. We argued a little bit further. She asked me once again, would you please drive me home? I didn't want to, so I shot her.
That was it, huh?
Yeah. There's still another 15 seconds, but the laugh he got for that was way over the top. That's not funny.
Okay.
Is that funny?
Yeah, well, he's crazy, man.
He shot her. What the hell? Not funny. All right, here we go.
Bloody shotgun. Cut it right in half.
That's it.
Okay.
Hilarious, right?
Hilarious.
He stinks.
Yeah.
I had to listen to that fucking joke over and over.
Is that a joke?
All of these are, I don't know if
but your dad found that funny?
Oh, he would laugh. He would sit there. I'm telling you, he would sit there and he'd be in his fucking chaise lounge, chuckling, belly laughing, and going and lipping it with him. Then I shot her.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, me and my mom would look at him and look at each other, and we would just be like, and we would just go to some other room or go outside or something. Just
right.
Fuck away from this fucking nonsense.
Like, what are you laughing at?
Yeah. And it just, and I can still remember times with my dad, he'd yell into my mom. He'd be like, hon, come on in here. I'm going to listen to some Steve Martin. My mom would just be like,
yeah, I've heard this 100 times already.
But she would be in there like nothing because that was her opening to try and get him to Like she'd listen to this fucking shitbag album, and then she would try to slip in some of her music behind it. She's like, oh, let's get a Springsteen record on or whatever. Let's throw on the Who or something. And my dad wasn't having none of that, but that was always like her get was she thought that if she sacrificed for him, then she'd get the opportunity back, and no such luck.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a give and take, but it was all take.
Yeah, it was a take and take.
Yeah.
My dad would take that, and then he'd be like, well, that was so good. Let's throw on the old Lionel Richie album all night long. And then next thing I know, my mom's just sitting on the shade, like laying next to him on the shades, just ready to kill herself.
Right.
Wishing he'd shoot her with a shotgun and laugh about it because she has to sit here and listen to fucking, Lionel Richie doing Stuck on You. It's like, oh, my mom was hating her life for that stuff.
Right. Boy.
Good times.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Yeah, it was a real joy sometimes to be in my
Well, speaking of killing yourself,
yes.
here's something that is relatable on that level.
Okay.
But something that might relate that you might relate to.
Okay.
Not to bring up painful memories.
All right.
And not to make light of your personal situation.
Sure.
But a steel worker, you were a steel worker once.
I was.
He has killed himself by jumping into a furnace at a Chinese factory. Now, why are you laughing? This is not a laughing matter.
That's your Steve Martin joke. I'm laughing. I'm going to tell you why it's funny before you even read the story.
Yes.
We had a guy that we worked with. He was a young kid. He was a fucking asshole. Just a straight up asshole. I won't say his name. But me and pretty much everybody else in the place hated this fucking guy.
Okay.
So we had two furnaces. We had one that was fairly small, the one that I got blown up on, which was pretty small. It held about 7 tons of molten metal.
Okay.
Then we had the big furnace, which held probably 50, 60 tons of molten metal. And the way we would fill these things up was we would take scrap metal that was unmelted, obviously, and we had like a scrap warehouse, and we had these little, I don't know what you'd call them, they're like a hopper, so to speak. It had like it was like a big bin, but it had a latch on it, and a forklift would lift it up and put it over the door of the furnace when it was open.
Yeah.
You could take a stick or something, and you would hit like a switch thing that was on it, and it was like a latch, and it would release the latch. And
You'd flip the latch up, and the door would open, and it all dump in there.
Yeah. The little cart would kind of tip forward, and everything would fall out.
Sure, I get it.
And then you would use the you would use the tow motor, and you could shake the tow motor back and forth to shake out all the shit into the door. That's how we used to do it. We hated this guy so fucking bad that we talked at length about fucking knocking him out and fucking throwing him in the furnace and charging this fucking guy because no one would have ever heard him, and that would have been it. Just fucking stuff him in this fucker and close the goddamn door and be done with Perry or whatever his name was. We hated this motherfucker with a passion.
To contemplate murder, I guess that would be a lot of hate.
Obviously, we never took it to that length, but
what?
We obviously did not do that, but it certainly was a talked about. And you know how it is, dude. You're working with somebody.
So you basically wanted to dump him into the fire
and just be done with him. We wanted to hear him going, "I'm falling."
Exactly.
Into the fire. But yeah, we hated this motherfucker. And you know how that goes, dude.
Well, to wish death on somebody, that's a lot of hate.
Well, we wanted him to quit, but he wouldn't quit. So that's next step, I guess. But
yeah. All right.
And then lo and behold, since I joked about it, guess who got fucking fried? Me. And guess who got cooked? Me.
Is that karma? Would that be considered karma?
Maybe. I don't know. I've always thought about that. If this was karma, like if it was ultimately karma, my problems with fire were karma for me burning my parents' house down when I was 7. And I always have thought maybe that was my fucking payback. Was, I lit up their house and burned it down when I was 7 years old. And I've told that story on the show before. But I always thought, because I got burned, and it's funny because I got burned pretty good, second-degree burns in June of the year that I got burned for real, like the real bad burn. I got burned in, moshing at the Metallica show, and they were having those blanket fires, and I just dove right into one, just being a goof, just drunk out of my mind, and dove into a fire and got second-degree burns all up and down my arms. So I always wondered, and then like that was like the warm-up for the actual real burn accident.
That's very interesting. The choice of words you use, the warm up.
Warm up, exactly. And of course, me being stupid, I get home and Georgetta's looking at my fucking whole arm that's all burned up and shit. And she's like, "You gotta go to the fucking hospital." I was like, hospital my ass. I was like, get some of that lotion. And she fucking rubbed calamine lotion on it, which could not have picked the worst thing to rub on a fucking open burn wound, but calamine lotion to dry it out, but it was like, just put that stuff on it, that pink shit, it'll work. And I put that shit on the burns, and I lived with the burn for about a week, and then I was fine. But
yeah, just put some bacon grease on it.
Yeah, why not? Just get some bug spray. Maybe that'll fix it. It's like, holy fuck, what is wrong with me?
Well, again, if this was today, it was like,
yeah.
Like last week. Just rub some dirt in it, will you?
Yeah, dude. I am the living proof of that shit. I mean, you've known me 20, years, roughly?
Yeah, at least. Well, I met you in 98. So
Okay.
2008, 18, 20, 23 years. Yeah.
You've heard me talk about this accident, yes?
Yeah, of course.
You've heard me joke about it. Yeah?
Of course.
Have you ever heard me legitimately, in the thousands of hours of conversations we've had, both here on the show and in, on the phone, whatever, have you ever heard me whine about it or say,
no, of course not. You just accepted your fate. Yeah. It's just like, this happened to me, and fuck it.
And that's how it should be for everybody.
I agree.
For everything. You're not, and I have this argument with people all the time. I don't rate people's accidents or whatever. I don't say mine is worse than anybody else's, because it's all relative. I was burned 69%, 52% with 3rd degree in grafts. I was burned to fuck. I mean, literally. And I'll tell you what, I'll take that over somebody that's burned 10% but loses his fucking hand, or loses his leg, or loses his foot, or, has a keloid the size of a second head on his fucking shoulder or some shit. It's all fucking relative. It is, is my accident worse than a bad car accident? I don't know. Maybe not.
Well, if you ever do a reissue of Call Me Chris, I think you should retitle it Burn to Fuck.
Yeah, Burn to Fuck, exactly. It's a good book title. It's the sequel.
Yeah, the sequel, Burn to Fuck.
Burn to Fuck. But I was burned to fuck, dude.
Of course.
I mean, I was burned. I mean, dude, even the title Call Me Chris, that was because I was burned so fucking bad that my own family couldn't recognize me. They just saw me as this lump of fucking bleeding fucking goo in a bed, just sitting there in a fucking coma, drooling like Terry Schiavo.
Did she make those noises?
Well, Terry Schiavo did.
Did she?
You don't remember that when they would show video of Terry?
I remember. I remember Glenn Beck was on the case on that for starving her to death.
Yeah, every time they showed Terry Schiavo, all you heard was, that was the deal. Accidents are accidents. Shit happens to everybody. and whining about it is fucking sorry, deep cut home run. Call me Booples.
Call me Booples.
Call me Booples.
My Booples aching.
That's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, Booples aching.
That's really good. But yeah, dude, it just doesn't make sense to me. And maybe it's the way we're raised, and maybe it's why we can't stand this
It's a
generation.
different era, dude.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I know it's a weird thing because I know if I would have come out the other side, the other way, and been like, oh, my life is over, and oh my God, I got to talk about burns every minute for the rest of my life, and I got to live in burn support and all, all the shit that a lot of people do. My family would have probably supported that. They probably would have been okay. But I think that somewhere in there, my dad especially would have been immensely disappointed with me. And somewhere in his, so he probably would have never said it to me, but somewhere in there, he'd have been like, I raised a bitch. I know that's what he would have thought. I raised a bitch. He would have never fucking been happy with the fact that I would be whining like a fucking cunt. And I'll tell you what. Exactly right. And I'll tell you what, different scenario, but when my son had the cancer, he didn't bitch for a minute. And all I could do is bang my chest with pride that my son wasn't a bitch going into something that fucking life-threatening.
Of course.
Handled it like a fucking man. I raised him right. It's like, fuck yeah, as it should be. And I'll be honest, if he would have come out of it like a bitch, I probably wouldn't have said nothing to him about it. I probably would have let it go. But, I mean, because it all does affect people differently. But, man, I just can't, for the life of me, I cannot fathom people that let something happen to them and they let it wreck their fucking life forever. Disappointed! And dude, how many people do that with like divorce or,
of course,
or a car accident, or like the ones that crack me up are the guys that like are depressed for like several years because like they have their house repossessed or they have a car repoed or something, or a house foreclosed on rather, and it's like, it's just stuff. Are you still alive? You still able to fucking rebound? Then go rebound. Stop bitching about it and rebound from it.
Well, I think you and I both can speak from that place of rebounding.
Of course.
You just pick up the pieces and do what you can with what you've got and move on.
Yeah. I've done so. I can only talk about my own life, but I was left for dead, quite literally. Wife was told, gonna die on this table. Lived through that, and fucking, I came from being dead to now doing all these great things, building businesses, owning the pinball thing, having fun doing the radio thing. Now I'm building a fucking radio empire, writing books. I've done every goddamn thing in the world, and this is after I was supposed to be dead. Beat that. And don't tell me about how you fucking can't do anything because your life is so hard. I'm not hearing you. I don't hear it at all. I never hear it.
Rise up and overcome, bitches.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Well, anyway, Wang Long could have used your sage advice.
Mm-hmm.
Wang Long, 34, was captured on closed circuit television throwing himself into the molten vat of steel at a factory where he worked in Mongolia.
Ouch.
Because he lost, get this, drum roll please, he lost an equivalent of $8,298 in the stock market.
He lost $8,200 and he killed himself?
He did.
What was his total net worth? $8,300?
A haunting still image shows his silhouette against a fiery A haunting still image shows him silhouetted against the fiery well moments before he hurled himself inside, causing red leaping flames and black smoke to billow out.
Lovely.
His employer, Baogang, Baogang, Baogang Group, confirmed that Wang's death was believed related to a large amount of losses and that he could not repay his heavy debt.
Who was the debt to? Some fucking Japanese mobster?
Well, no, he lost it in the stock market, so he had to pay up.
Yeah, just don't pay it.
Well, he threw himself into the fire.
Yeah, I guess he's not gonna pay it, but
yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna kill myself. You're not gonna get it from me, Pally.
I guess when you work for 3 cents a day, 8,000 could seem.
Well, there you go. That's where we're heading for in this country.
Exactly.
Last Tuesday, the Steelworks had reported Wang missing after his colleagues were unable to find him following the night shift. Yeah, he's part of the Molten Metal.
Yeah.
However, surveillance footage later revealed that Wang had died in what police believed was a suicide. In the video, Wang is seen to take off his helmet and his gloves, placing them on the ground. For several minutes, he appears to hesitate before jumping into the furnace.
Yeah, I get that.
Definitely into the fire.
Mm.
The Baogang Group said, "We feel deeply sorry for his death. We are proactively appeasing the emotions of his family and carrying out psychological guidance for our workers." I never understood that. We're bringing in counselors for this.
Yeah, grief counselor.
I never understood that. It's like, what kind of pussies are we?
Yeah.
It's like, well, so and so committed suicide, so we're bringing in grief counselors.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, I don't get it. I'll tell you this though. I understand this dude hesitating because let me just tell you, when 7 tons of molten metal fucking hits you, and it hits you in an explosion, so it passes off of you.
But you weren't even expecting it. This guy is well aware of what awaits him.
Oh, I get it. I'm just going to tell you, not expecting it and having it happen and just be done, like it happened and it was over, like in a couple of seconds. That was a pain that is undescribable. I mean, that was pain like nothing I ever had and never will have again. I can't imagine jumping in and, let's be honest, unless you had your mouth open and you just fucking ingested it where it ate your fucking heart away instantly, you're going to live for 15, 20 seconds. Swimming, your body's naturally going to try and get out of that shit. And you are going to swim in this shit as you're screaming in pain as it melts your fucking body away. That has to suck. Those last 15, 20 seconds of old boy's life, that had to feel worse than touching your finger on a stove or something.
Yeah, that's like Terminator 2, where he lowers himself into the...
Yeah. I got news for you though. It probably wasn't as glamorous as when he slowly lowered. I guarantee you the last thing he did wasn't put his one finger up in the air before it's.
No, he gave him the thumbs up.
Or the thumbs up, yeah.
He went down like this.
Yeah, fucking sure he did.
Well, he was a robot anyway. He didn't feel any pain.
Even a robot would have felt pain in that fucking scenario. And I can tell you that for a fact. That shit fucking hurts. Bad.
Wang's colleagues told the South China Morning Post he had been trading stocks and futures for a while, that he was introverted character and unmarried. So, he didn't leave any wife or hellspawn behind.
Oh, so then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, he just kind of burned up in flames.
All right, I'll see.
Police think Wang killed himself because he had taken out large loans on Wednesday and lost 60,000 yen, that is 8,000 blah 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 American dollars on the stock market. He took out loans on the stock market.
This was Japan or China?
This was I read that earlier.
Yeah, I just don't remember what it was.
This was in Mongolia.
Mongolia. I wonder if they have laws that are different than here. Like they don't allow you to bankrupt. They cut your head off or some shit if you're fucking overdrawn on your bank account or something.
You're overdrawn. Off with your head, fucker.
Well, they might. And I mean, that's the only reason I could think of that, you know, being broke would.
Well, I think that the honor thing over there is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And that as somebody who is not successful and can't live with the pain of being a failure,
right?
You know, it's like the dying on the samurai sword. You know, you die with honor rather than live with guilt.
I guess,
but this guy, took out loans.
Yeah, to pay his stock debt.
Well, to play the stock market.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, I don't know. And I think he was playing the Nikkei or something.
I have no idea.
Wasn't even playing the real stock market. He's playing the Nikkei.
The Baogang Group, established in 1954, is a major steel producer and China's largest light rare earth metal manufacturer. Its assets are worth more than $20 billion and has more than 48,000 employees.
Wow.
Well, he's not going to be missed.
Oh,
They got 47,999 employees.
Exactly. and one bloody ingot on the ingot table.
Exactly. I mean, I hate to laugh about a guy's death, but you know what? Everybody makes their own choices.
Yeah.
I would not begrudge anyone in our audience who goes, this is a good idea for me. I think I'm going to just end it all here. And I'm just like, well, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Dude, what are you going to do? I mean, in the end, if somebody truly wants to kill themselves, and I don't know if you've had that experience or not with somebody calling you and they were like, legit, I need to end this. I can't deal with it. Or
I have. I actually had a former girlfriend contact me about a year ago and said, hey, can I come there? And I'm just like, why? What's going on? And it's like, well, I'm suicidal. It's like, well, coming here is not going to solve your problems. Right. What are you dealing with here?
Right.
And it turned out okay. But the first thing they thought was, can I come to your place?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, no, you can't come here.
Yeah.
But I need to know what's going on. What are you doing? What are you dealing with?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the whole thing. And it was just like, no, this isn't the place for you, because what am I or being here going to do for you?
Yeah. I mean, I have one friend that plays that card on occasion. And I just know that I'm going to get that call someday that he fucking offed himself. I just know it. And it's like, whenever he calls me that way, I ask him what's going on. And if he can't talk about it on the phone, I always go there. I'll always go and I'll talk him through it as best as I can. But, in the end, I mean, what are you really going to do? If somebody's determined that their life is too fucked, the only thing I ask is don't fucking blow your brains out where the mess gets on my fucking doorstep. I mean, honestly, what else can you do? What can, I love my friends and all, but, in the end, it's like, I can't save everybody.
Well, here's the thing. And I think this is very relatable to the people who listen to this show, as well as, you and I.
Yeah.
You and I had a acquaintanceship. I'm going to call it an acquaintanceship. I'm not going to call it a real friendship. With Janie Lane.
Sure. Okay.
This guy, we knew that he had a lot of issues and he could have done something different with his existence, but he chose not to do it. And both of us, even our friend Billy Morris,
Mhm.
we all tried to help him in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
But if somebody is hell bent on destruction, personal destruction, what are you going to do about that?
Nothing. There's nothing you can do.
You can reach out, you can say, hey, I'm concerned about you.
Mhm.
How can I help you? All these other things, but in the end, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Not much. Dude, there's not much. I mean, you could talk people, you could tell them, that you give a fuck about them and whatnot, and that, you want them to live and whatever, but dude, you can't change anybody's life fully. You just can't do it. You got to live your life, but in the end, you can't think like they do. So just how, you know, that's one of the things that why one buddy says to me, well, you did this and you did that. I'm like, yeah, well, I did do that. Who's stopping you? And don't tell me life, because that's fucking bullshit. And unfortunately, that's something I can't fucking ride with. I can't ride with the, well, you got it worse than I did, because hey, fuck you. Nobody had it worse than I did. No one I've experienced yet has had it worse than I did and come all the way back. No one. So I challenge anybody with that. If you feel like your life's so bad, hey, fucking read my book, dummy. Because I was fucking dead and gone. And now I own businesses and write books and fucking make you dicks laugh. All 50,000 of you in the 42 in the chat room.
The 42 in the chat room.
Yeah. Oh, those are the ones that count.
Yes.
Sorry, other 50,000, but the 42 that have my attention are the only ones that count.
Right.
You guys are just fucking faceless, mindless.
Yeah, there's 8 spots open in the CMS chat room. Why aren't you in there if there's 50,000 of you listening right now?
Yeah, you fucking faceless fucks. Put your name in there.
Yeah, that chat room should be maxed out at this point.
At all time. Well, it was for most of the night.
It was maxed out before we even started the show. Yeah, that's what the.
I mean, it is 1:30 in the morning, so half of the audience went to sleep. So now we're probably down to 25,000.
Yeah. Chatandkill.com, motherfuckers. Let's max that chat room out.
Unless you're a fucking turd. And if that's the case, don't come in the chat room.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to see your troll ability, you fact. See, we lost one.
No, you're playing the rev now. Look, we peaked. We peaked at 10. All right, there's 7 spots open in the CMS chat room, so get over there. Oh, we gained one. It's 44 now.
Ooh, look at
Somebody
us.
jumped in there. There's only 6 spots left.
You're really determined to get there, aren't you?
I want to see everybody max this room out. There's only 50 slots in this room, and there's 6 open. Look at Rob Halford in the porta potty.
Where's that?
Demon put it in the chat room.
Oh, Jesus. I'm more fascinated by the girl with 3 tits. What's going on there?
All right, we're 5 away from maxing out the room.
45.
Look at that. It's growing. Look at that. 5 more spots.
Oh, my
Can't get in after that.
Oh, my God.
Jump in. Chatandkill.com. Is that still active?
Yeah,
I don't know.
chatandkill.com.
Yeah, chatandkill.com. 47.
Look at
that.
That's hilarious.
You got 3 more. 3 more spots. Jump in. Chatandkill.com.
We are really in stupid mode tonight.
I know. Look at that. Max this room out, you motherfuckers. I love it.
That is funny.
Get in there. There's 3 open spots.
Yeah. I got news for you. Neely's probably not
going to 48.
Neely's not going to move on till the last 2 of you get in here. So.
48.
All right, Phil Ooze, you're going to scare these people away with that giant dick. Please don't do that.
All right. There's 2 more slots. Fill it up. Let's max out at 50. Come on. I'm not going to wait.
Well, you apparently are.
Come on. Well, supposedly we have 50,000 people.
Yeah. Well, they just don't want to chat, maybe.
All right.
48 is good.
We're at 48, so there's 2 open slots, so you can jump in.
Welcome, people. Welcome.
All right. All right. So there you go. A guy killed himself over $8,000.
Yeah, and we're laughing about it.
Well, you know what the fuck? Stupid people.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give a shit about them.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. I'm unfeeling and uncaring. All right. Before we take a break,
Yes, sir.
I know that you're well aware of the whole COVID thing
Yes.
that has totally destroyed a lot of things in our society.
Yes.
Well, anyway, supposedly, because we're a year into this thing already, Live Nation, one of the biggest concert promoters in the world, they're ready to move forward.
Good.
They're ready to put on some live shows. They're ready to, get things going.
Great.
But the problem is they have nobody to work the venues now. Everybody has moved on from their roadie status to, working to make the live performances happen.
Right.
A lot of the stagehands and technicians have moved on to other things, and they're just like, fuck this. I got to make a living.
Right.
I'm going to lose my house or my apartment or whatever it is that they live in.
Right.
And they've moved on to other things, and it's just like, okay, things are opening back up. We need you guys. And it's like, yeah, I'm doing something else already.
Yeah, don't care.
Artists can't wait to get back on tour, but after more than a year on pause, the COVID-19 pandemic, the live event business is facing a potential worker crisis and not enough roadies.
Yeah.
Concerts operate in a world of contracts with workers moving from gig to gig, tour to tour. Without live events, though, many stagehands, lighting and sound technicians, ticket takers, and ushers, they have assumed other jobs.
Yeah, as they had to.
Yeah, this is like I had to do whatever I had to do to survive.
And you know what it is even more than the fact that they've assumed other jobs? 49, by the way. It's not so much that they assumed other jobs, it's that they got out of the habit of living like a fucking pauper. And, they got used to getting a steady paycheck now. So it's not like, well, dude, it's cool because I'm out on the road with Brittany Fox or, whatever it is, and I don't want to use like Metallica or the big name stuff because those guys are like, I guarantee you Metallica didn't lose one roadie.
No, they're locked in.
Yeah, they're locked in, but the LA Guns and Brittany Fox and this Palooza festival in fucking Lima or wherever, all those people went and got regular gigs.
Bonnaroo.
Yeah, exactly. Well, even Bonnaroo probably kept most of their guys, other than the people, the seasonal people that they hire. I'm talking about the people that would normally be working, a 200 seat club or the
Well,
people,
they're for hire people.
yeah, or the people that would go out on tour that like a Dawkins-sized band that would have like one roadie that would kind of work all 4 guys.
Sure, of course.
Those guys have all moved on. They all got jobs, and now they're like, dude, why am I going to go back on the road for less money than I make when I could come home and fucking, live in my own house, sleep in my own bed, fuck my chick whenever I want to, and watch Netflix for more money. That's That's the unfortunate truth of COVID. COVID took living like a kid, like a college kid, away from a lot of these people.
Right. Well, I talked about this on the show last week that, I went to get my car, get my tires balanced and my front end alignment checked. And the guy's telling me, well, we can't do your front end alignment because we can't find anyone to fill that position because people are just at home, collecting their unemployment and their quote unquote, their COVID benefit.
Yeah.
On top of that, it's like, what's the incentive to come back and go to work?
Yeah, no, it's true.
Concerts operate in a world of contracts with the workers moving from gig to gig, tour to tour without live events. Though many stagehands, lighting and sound technicians, ticket takers, and ushers assumed other jobs. No one saw a year without a work, said Michael Strickland, the chief executive of lighting company Bandit Lights.
Oh, Lights.
Bandit Lights. As it continued, you lost people along the way. The mentality, the physicality, the spirituality, and the economically. The concern among event organizers that those workers might not come back.
Mm-hmm.
Having moved on to other jobs that might be more stable, more lucrative, or offer perks like insurance. Oh, we can't work jobs with no insurance.
Yeah, can't do that anymore.
Or retirement options. Also lost is a generation of apprentices, the younger workers who have been learning the craft, eager to graduate from warehouse gig to the local show and onto the national tour, man.
Yeah. Well, dude, what kind of retirement benefits do you think you get if you're the roadie for Steve Riley's LA Guns?
Exactly.
You're not getting anything. Dude, that's honestly, and I'm not trying to be disparaging here, but I'm just going to be honest. To be a roadie for most of these guys, you pretty much have to, your only other option is being fucking homeless. That's really all it's a step up from in most cases. I mean, you're literally paid in beer and cast off pussy. There's nothing else you're paid in. And it's cast off pussy from a 200 seat club. So you can imagine the quality there. What do you think the quality is of the chicks that are turned down by the band, but will blow the roadies?
Do chicks even do that anymore?
I don't know. Not at any shows I've seen. I mean, there were some at the one time when we were hanging with Don down in Cleveland, me and you and
that was at the House of Blues. Yeah.
I think those chicks would have blown Don. Of course, they would have been able to do it well because they looked old enough to remove their teeth to do it. I mean, they looked like they were in their late 60s to early 70s. As they fucking walked up with their walkers. Hi, Don.
Right.
Don. They looked ancient, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's any of that going on anymore. Maybe with the young bands.
Do you think?
I gotta think that the young bands are still getting some puss here and there. I gotta think that. I can't imagine being in a band like Hailstorm or something, and forget Lizzie Hale. But, if you're like the guitar player, the bass player that's not fucking Lizzie Hale, and you're out on tour and you're playing in front of 10,000 people a night, you gotta be sticking your dick in one of them. Don't you?
I guess something tells me though, because of just my personal observation, that a lot of these younger people, they're not. I'm just gonna say that they're not sexually adept.
I don't know. I'll. You know what? Next time I interview a young band, which will obviously happen sooner than later, I'm going to ask them. I will ask some young band that question, if they're still out there chasing pussy, and then when they say, "Oh yeah, of course," then I'll say, "Stop lying to me and tell me the truth." I'll ask the question, and whoever the band is, I'll bring it to the show.
Okay.
but I will ask the question. I'll
So-
ask it.
some just tells me that the maturity
Mhm.
of, you know, I don't know what you want to call it, the groupie mentality
Mhm.
is just not there. I somehow, and again, I could be completely off base.
Right.
It just doesn't seem to me like the younger generation is really into sex.
Well, dude, trust me when I tell you, it's not going to surprise me if I ask some young band and they say, "Nah, we just get back on the bus and play video games."
That's kind of where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I'm going with that. It's just like there's no interest in that at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll be interested to hear how. I'll find out. I will ask whoever the next young band that I interview is that seems like they'll talk about this kind of shit. I will ask them.
I'm very curious because they just don't seem like they're even interested in that at all. I think they're more interested in their social media and, as you just mentioned, like video games.
Mhm.
But when it comes to, like, just carnal getting it on, that's not even a consideration at all.
I'm looking to see who I'm interviewing this week. Evile, they're old. I'll ask this band Vola. They're a young new band. Vola, Vola. I'll ask them if they do any ass chasing. Oh no, I'll wait till on Wednesday. I'm interviewing the band Crowbot, who are like kind of like stoner guys,
Okay.
but they're younger guys. And I will say the guy Bishop, one time at Rock on the Range, he told me a weird, crazy story about what he calls the Eagle's Claw, which is how he fucking finger bangs and ass bangs a chick at the same time. I'm gonna ask him about this.
All right.
I know he chases pussy, but I'm gonna ask him if the rest of his band chases pussy.
So it's almost like the shocker.
Almost, but he said that it's with your thumb and your index finger, and you plug them both in, and then you stretch as hard as you can. It's called the Eagle's Claw. He told me this at Rock. The funniest fucking thing. He told me this, like we were kind of just hanging out with him, and he did like uh Dom from Maximum Threshold's show, but then we moved on with him to the next table, kind of. We were hanging out with him, and he was still in that mode where there was no filter, but yet he was live on the air with some radio station wherever, and he started talking more about this fucking Eagle's Claw and digging his finger into the girl's pussy on FM radio.
How did that even become a subject of discussion?
Because we were all just fucking shooting the shit at the Rock on the Range. We were just like, I'm sure the question of tell us the wildest thing that you've ever participated or seen at a show came up, and he brought this to the table, this Eagle's Claw thing, and it just got crazy, and then it just went from there. The Eagle's Claw.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
You know how it goes. Guys get around guys. They start telling fucking ridiculous.
Well, like I said, I understand guys telling whack ass stories, but again, how did that even begin?
Yeah, I'm sure it began with what's the craziest thing you've ever seen or done backstage.
All right.
I'm sure that's where it started.
Okay. Well, again, I'm just, for some reason, this is just my perception. I don't know this is fact.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems to me like the younger people, they don't really care about scoring or banging out a chick or anything. It's just like, yeah, she was a really nice girl, and I brought her back, and we played Lethal Weapon or Dark. What is that called?
What GTA?
No, what is it? What is the one with the covert guns and
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty? That's the one.
Yeah.
We went back to the tour bus and we played Call of Duty. She was a real cool chick because she was really into it.
Yeah, but you know what though, dude? they've also been raised where they're not allowed to talk about just fucking whores. So to them that there's an actual thought of taboo to that, of we could ruin our image if we're not talking respectfully about these women that we're fucking. But that doesn't mean that they're not just fucking. Look, guys are carnal, and guys are always going to be carnal. Guys are always gonna be. Guys are always going to look at chicks and just want to fucking do filthy things to them. You
Well,
know,
you think so?
Yeah, and I do think though that especially these younger bands like Greta Van Fleet, these guys are sticking pussy in every fucking city. The problem is that they can't come out and tell plaster caster stories like their predecessors did.
Yeah, like Led Zeppelin.
Like, you know, and they can't tell the copycat Led Zeppelin story because that'll immediately be met with fucking a bunch of fucking fruits with pink hats on going, we're boycotting these guys because they're not good to women. They treat women badly. You know that's what's going on.
Ugh.
Look at PC in the chat room. Speak for yourself, Aiken. I want to be a gentleman. Sure you do. That's why you listen to this show.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Gentlemen.
Out of here. Take that shit out of here. You ain't fooling anybody, PC.
So stupid. Well, a guy who is a man's man.
Yeah.
Or was a man's man.
Okay.
Lemmy from Motorhead.
Yes, sir.
He basically was the epitome of, you know, everything that you and I both, you know, aspire to, as far as just being kind of just like a rock and roll hedonistic guy who just, you know, we're just guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, as you're aware, Lemmy unfortunately passed away like almost 6 years ago.
Sadly, yeah.
Can you believe that?
It's crazy.
I'm glad to say that Lemmy appeared on the show.
Yes.
And I'm happy to say that I had a conversation with Lemmy at the legendary Rainbow.
Yes.
And you know, I feel very blessed that I had that opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Lemmy passed away years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Motorhead legend Lemmy Kilmister.
Mm-hmm.
His ashes have been placed into bullets and sent to his closest friends.
See, I think that's the coolest story of the year so far.
Yeah.
I love that story.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
American television and radio personality Ricky Rackman, who hosted MTV's heavy metal show The Headbangers Ball in the 1990s, broke the extremely metal, quite literally, revelation about Lemmy's ashes last night. That is the 22nd of March. Rackman posted a photo of the gold bullet embossed with Lemmy's name sitting inside a plush presentation case.
Right.
He wrote, before his death, Lemmy asked for his ashes to be put in some bullets and handed out to his closest friends.
That's awesome. That's fucking awesome.
Today I received a bullet and was literally brought to tears. Thank you, Motorhead.
Dude, I would absolutely cry if I got fucking a Lemmy bullet with his ashes.
Of course you would. It's like this bullet casing. It's got, you know, it's got like a quarter ounce of Lemmy's DNA in it.
Exactly.
And it's in a case and it's all shiny and, you know, it's a memento.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Lemmy, I know that you have expressed on the show that you have adopted the Lemmy philosophy in life, and as have I. You know, I've drawn a lot of inspiration from Lemmy about life, and you know, I quoted him on the show tonight about how many rooms can you live in at one time.
Sure.
You know, and he was a no nonsense guy. And even though he had success in his life, I have no idea what his net worth was when he passed away.
Mhm.
But he was just I get up on stage, I play my Rickenbacker bass, I just rock out, and I live in a 1-bedroom apartment in North or West Hollywood rather, and I drink at the Rainbow, and that's my life. You
Right.
know, he had no lofty expectations, living in mansions and all this, driving big cars and all this other stuff. It's just like, yeah, I just live my life. I drink my Jack Daniels, I rock out to my music, I tour the world, I drink at the Rainbow, and life is good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he did. He lived it his way right till the last day.
He did.
I mean, he was on tour, what, 3 weeks before he died?
Yeah, I think it was like literally 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was like right before.
Yeah.
And he looked like hell, but he still knocked out the shows.
He did.
Wasn't he passing out at some of the shows because
I think he had to cut some shows short because he literally couldn't perform. He was just,
right.
yeah, I apologize. I have to cut the show short because I just can't go on. And he was just, he was literally on his last legs, as the old adage goes.
Yeah, well, he inspired me. His personality more than his music. I mean, I like the music, but I loved his personality and what he did. I mean, dude, even my books, every one of my books is dedicated to my grandfather, my father, and Lemmy.
Yeah.
Every one of them. Because
Well, he was a rock till you drop guy.
and that's how I try to live. I try to go 150 miles an hour every fucking day. And so far so good. And dude, is it gonna shock you one bit if they find me dead in front of a computer?
Probably not.
You'll be like, yep, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, you went out doing what you enjoyed.
Yeah, doing what I do and working hard and trying to get even further along. There's no resting on what you've accomplished. None. You always got more to accomplish.
Sure.
Yeah, I totally try to live the Lemmy way.
Not widely picked up by the media last year, former professional tennis player Pat Cash shared a photo of Lemmy bullet he received in February of 2020. Taking to Instagram from Lemmy's favorite drink haunt, the Rainbow, which I was just there like a month ago. Cash said that the bullet had been given to Ugly Kid Joe's frontman Whitfield Crane.
Wow.
Cash wrote on the time that Lemmy from Motorhead asked that his ashes be put in some bullet and given out to his closest friends last night. One was presented to my mate Whitfield Crane whilst he was having dinner at Lemmy's bar at the Rainbow. Lemmy died on the 28th of December 2015 in his apartment in Los Angeles, just 4 days after his 70th birthday. He was later immortalized with a statue at the Rainbow Bar and Grill, which you can see below. Last summer, it was announced that the movie biopic about Lemmy is in the works, simply entitled Lemmy. It's being directed by Greg Oliver, who has also co-directed and co-produced the acclaimed 2010 documentary film about the same name, Lemmy, alongside Wes Orschlicki, whatever his name is. Lemmy will follow the early life of Ian Fraser Killmeister, from his upbringing in Stoke-on-the-Trent to famously becoming a roadie for Jimi Hendrix to joining space rock torch bearers Hawkwind before he formed Motorhead in the mid-70s. Lemmy has been in development since 2013, and production is tentatively set to start this year, depending on the situation with the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah.
So there you go. So there's going to be some kind of a Lemmy documentary thing.
Am I wrong in thinking that I emceed the actual premiere of that movie? I'm pretty sure I did, with that Wes Orschowski guy. That name rings a bell. I'm pretty sure that I emceed the actual premiere of that movie. It was at the Beachland Ballroom in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive I did. Yeah. That was a pretty good movie.
Yeah. So there you go. So Lemmy 6 years later still lives on.
Yeah, as he should. The music will always live on.
Yeah.
The legacy needs to keep living on.
Well, again, and again, I'm going to go with the, what would Lemmy say about today's current environment?
Yeah. Miss that dude, man. But everybody dies, apparently.
Well, it was an honor having Lemmy be on the show at one point.
Sure was.
And it was a big honor for me to personally, speak with him at the Rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget that time I was at the Rainbow and his manager was with him, and the girl that I was dating at the time, she had talked to his manager and told his manager that I was at the Rainbow and wanted to talk to him. And he basically said, yeah, come on over and talk, but no pictures.
Right.
And I wanted to take a selfie with Lemmy, but it was just like, nope, not happening.
Yeah. He wasn't into it.
But Bob Nalbandian,
Mm-hmm.
the legend Bob Nalbandian, was at the Rainbow with me.
Yeah.
And, Lemmy was there and he was just playing his video game, as people have reported.
Mm-hmm.
And now that it's, here we are almost 6 years later, it's called Lemmy's Lounge now.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was out there with Eric, our friend Eric Ferentinos, I had bought a couple of whiskey shirts for, some various people.
Okay.
That asked me to buy them some whiskey, a-go-go shirts, as well as some rainbow shirts.
Sure.
And the guy loaded me up with some drink coasters that were Jack Daniel's drink coasters that says Lemmy's Lounge on it.
Oh, nice.
So I got a stack of these things and I don't want to use them. I basically want to get them laminated.
Okay.
So I can have them here in the CMS studio to where they don't get ruined because they're cardboard.
Right.
But I want to get them encased in laminate so I can have them here in the CMS studio.
Another collectible for Studio A.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So it's pretty cool. It's called Lemmy's Lounge. If you haven't been to the Rainbow, obviously because of COVID, you can go there, but as long as you're sitting, you can take your mask off and order and drink a Jack and Coke in, honor of Lemmy, or order some food or whatever. But, God damn it, don't you stand up without your mask.
Well, thank God Lemmy's Lounge has the sit down force field.
Because Lemmy is watching over us all.
That's right. But only if you're sitting.
Exactly.
Stand up, Lemmy turns his head.
Yeah. Don't you stand up without your mask.
That's right.
So stupid.
It is. Are you got a Motorhead tune, or you want me to pick one? Because I've
got well, I was gonna play a Motorhead if you want to pick a Motorhead tune.
I do. I would like to hear Make My Day, since hearing that story made my day, from 1916.
Okay. Some Motorhead, Make My Day.
That's right.
All right. This isn't a tribute to
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood?
No, I don't think so. Might have been. I mean, he's working with bullets here, so maybe it does. I don't know.
But anyway, so yeah, Lemmy, just an icon, man.
Yeah, he is.
And again, I was just happy to meet the guy and shake his hand and chat with him for a few minutes. And they're like Sam Kinison, which we talked about earlier tonight. There will never be another Sam Kinison. There will never be another Lemmy ever.
Yeah. And you know what? That makes Jacko happy because he hates both, if you can believe that.
He hates Sam and he hates Motorhead?
Yes, he stinks. He literally in the chat room tonight said that Sam Kinison was a loudmouth ass. and he was in here saying that Lemmy was overrated. Starting to wonder about Jim.
Okay.
Starting to wonder about Jim. But he loves Nostradamus as his #1 album ever.
Okay. Well, I don't get it. All right. All right. Well, let's play a couple tunes. We'll come back, wrap up the show. So here it is. It's Motorhead with Make My Day exclusively here
on your classic. All right, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it? And you know what else is a lot of fun? The CMS Podcast Network. That's right, cmspn.com is the address. Make sure you go over there. Make sure you watch the episodes there, you listen to the episodes there, and maybe you even just subscribe so it's delivered to your phone to whatever podcasting software you use, but do it from cmspn.com. Once again, cmspn.com, cmspn.com, cmspn.com. We'll see you next time, fucks.